Good afternoon. Welcome to Friday, TGIF. Whew, thank goodness. I hope you are all doing well today. It has been, an interesting week this week. I don't know if anybody's feel that way. I don't know. Things felt a little off, a little crazy, a little interesting. But I thank you all for tuning in today. And I'm glad to be back live this afternoon because I was out last Friday. So we have a lot to catch up on today, so I'll catch you all up on everything that's going on. But you are listening to the Financial Chick Show, and I am the Financial Chick. My name is Denise Nostrom, the CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions, a full-service independent financial planning firm located in Medford. I'm here live every Friday at 5:30 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. Your Financial Chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you want to know more about me or my firm, you can check out my website at financialchickshow.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Diversified Financial Solutions. So like our pages to get updates and see what is happening. Well, I just kind of came flying into the studio today. Well, first of all, it's raining again. We've had a few sunny days, I know, in between, but I feel like it's been raining since January and it just doesn't stop. And taking the dog out this morning, it was freaking cold. Like, what's going on? I was in Florida last week, which I'll talk to you about a little bit. But it was just so nice to have that warm weather. And we had it here a little bit sporadically. Actually, the one day that I was gone, it was 90 degrees here, I heard. Which actually I think was hotter here than it was in Florida that day. I think it was not this past Monday, but the Monday before. So the last time that we were together was Friday, April 26th. So yes, that next morning I was, which was a Saturday, I was on a 6 a.m. flight right here out of MacArthur Airport to Florida to visit a few clients. I flew into Jacksonville on Southwest and was lucky. This was pretty cool. When I travel, I actually do a bunch of traveling. So when I was there, I was going to St. Augustine, and then I had to shoot down a Port St. Lucie, and then I was back up to Orlando. So I usually get like a mid-sized car, nothing crazy, just I don't want to get a small car because I'm doing a lot of miles. I'm on the road for 3 hours or 2 or 3 hours at a clip. But thank you, Alamo. I actually got a rental car upgrade. An upgrade. They actually put me into an Audi A4, so that was really sweet. I mean, it probably wouldn't be something. Well, I shouldn't say I wouldn't rent it, but I didn't rent it this time, so that was kind of a nice surprise. So you never know what's going to happen. So it was a very interesting week, and as we kind of go through some things, you'll see how interesting a week it really was. But so I saw 2 clients on that Saturday, both of which were former Long Islanders. They lived on Long Island but moved down to Florida. In both of their cases, however, they both did so way before the pandemic, and that's when everybody moved down at that point. But they were some of the initial migrators to the state of Florida. I'd say one common ingredient that they said, we went over, reviewed their accounts and, checked into their expenses, both of which are retired. And I would say the biggest concern that both of them had was the cost of things that have been skyrocketing. And in Florida, as in New York as well, the biggest rise they've seen was both in car insurance and homeowners insurance. And, this is something, as clients get older, as we all get older, we tend to have to spend more on healthcare. Things like dentures or hearing aids or things that, we wouldn't normally have to get as we navigate our lives. But as we get older, we need these things. And a lot of times these things are not covered by insurance. So one thing and observations I like to share with all of you is things that come my way, or I speak to clients. I learn from clients as much as they learn from me. But that we all need to plan for those unexpected expenses or those costs that came up. Many clients are good with their monthly income when they're retired until those big purchases or expenses come into play. That's when everything really goes kind of south. Always stress the importance of having an adequate cash reserve. That's really, really important. And I'm working with clients, they to not try to cover those things that come up unexpectedly. We want to make sure we have all of that covered so we can do a great financial plan and say, all right, here's the income, here expenses, everything's great. But if we don't have anything for the emergencies, a couple things happen. Well, they can't pay it, or they pay it, and they take money out of the accounts that they may have to take big, large withdrawals, which is not great, or they go to credit cards. And we're starting to see that happen with a lot of people too, which is not good. So it makes sense. I'm going to talk on a future show, but there's a thing called a health matching account, or HMA, that I use for myself personally and my family. which is a matching account that you put money into this, and it can be used for any type of medical care, like things that aren't covered. Like I said, people need hearing aids or chiropractic care or dentures, some things with your teeth, not even dentures, but crowns or whatever the case may be. A lot of times we don't have a lot of good coverage with that. So we'll talk about that. And I'm also finding, and I'm finding this in my own personal situation too, as our homes get older, we get older, our homes get older, we need to do updates or renovations. And, sometimes it's a big nut to crack. And what I've been starting to do with some clients is opening a money market or a savings account that's earmarked just for home, expenses or renovations that have to be done. The roof needs to be done. You need a new oil burner. You need to do some landscaping, or you have to redo the kitchen or the bathroom or that type of thing. And a lot of times, these things come up and it's heresy, like, oh my God, we got to do all this stuff. But if we plan and then do these projects, once a year or every other year, it makes it a little bit easier to chew. So that's just a little wisdom there on my trip and meeting with clients. And I will say, we did work, but we also had some fun. One of my clients taught me how to play pickleball. So before this trip, I heard of it and I knew it had something to do with a kitchen or something like that. It was great to learn about the game. I did pretty good my first time, but I also have to say I had a great teacher. My client is actually a retired gym teacher. So of course I, learned from the best, and I love her. So after the client meetings, I shot up to Orlando, and I made my way to the conference center. We were staying at a hotel in Orlando near Disney. I look forward to this event every single year because I get so much information from the guest speakers and other reps that attend the conference from all over the country that I can bring back to all of you, things that are working for other people or new ideas or new concepts. So one of the keynote speakers that we had this year was from the Disney Institute Training and Disney. He is a Disney keynote speaker, so he does like a whole thing. He goes all over the world actually and talks about his experiences, and he had said he was hired at the same time as Michael Eisner, but he was very funny. He said, well, obviously we've gone different paths and probably have different net worths at this point. Funny guy. But he also told us the secret sauce for the Disney employee experience, which of course becomes the experience that we have when we go to Disney. And what's so funny is that, sometimes things are just so elementary and so easy, but we make things so complicated. So here are the 3 tenets, the secret sauce of a Disney employee experience. 1 is to smile and make the customer happy. Number 2, do your job. Make sure you're on the job. If questions are asked, make sure you do it. And number 3, pick up garbage. And that sounds kind of funny, right? But when you think about it, smiling, everybody's happy at Disney, right? So you get that part of it. Do your job. You never have to worry. If you ask, you never say, well, I'm not really sure. Go talk to that guy or go talk to that girl. They usually know the answers and they'll help you out. And then pick up garbage. That place is freaking spotless clean all the time. And the guy was saying it's not just the people that aren't supposed to pick up the garbage. Any employee, they're told to do that. So simple, and it works. So really interesting things. And I have to say, I always get really beefed up and I get very excited when after I come back from the conference, because it's just motivating. And I guess it was really kind of nice. There's so much going on in the world right now with the protesting at the colleges and the Trump case that's going on in the courts, and it just goes on and on. Inflation and just everything that's happening. So sometimes it's good to get back to the basics. Stick with the task at hand, what my main objective is, and work with my clients, and just I don't know, just really just walking away from all that stuff which is a lot of things that we really can't control. So it was nice to be with people and just talk and not have all the noise that we normally hear, So after the speaker, I actually left the conference, and I have a very, very interesting story to tell you after the break. It just shows how dedicated, or possibly how crazy of a person that I really am. So that'll be an interesting thing after the break. But I want to thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Financial Chick Show. This is Denise Nostrom. My company is Diversified Financial Solutions. I look for financial solutions when you feel like there are none. So feel free to contact me at 631-758-8691 or at financialchickshow.com. And you can go to my website. And actually, if there's any shows that you might have missed. There's, everything's listed by topics. If there's something that you are looking to hear more about, whether it be Social Security or saving for retirement or whatever the case may be, you can go and listen to the show. But stay tuned after the break, there will be more. This thing is hanging and it's driving me crazy. I'm sure it's supposed to go somewhere.
Yeah, all hosts have been.
Oh my God. What?
Said all hosts have been having trouble with that.
Yeah, today it's been a little bit, this is kind of annoying today. All right, I'm going to try to like macrame. I'm going to like twist it around. Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it. I'm a little bit on speed today. It's all good, just a lot going on. And very busy. See if I can see who's on here right now. Who's in the listening area? Good, just a lot going on. Who's in the listening area?
Now we have 2 minutes.
All right, swinging. But how are you? I didn't even get to talk to you. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent.
A little bored.
You what?
I'm just bored of shit.
You're bored. Don't be bored.
Yeah. When the weather's nicer, it's not as boring.
True that. Yeah, I was in shock and awe this morning when I took my dog out, how cold it was. I was like, what is going on here? I don't like it. And then I'm so excited about changing out my clothes because all I have is like sweatshirts and sweaters and, everything warm. But then you have a day like this and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't change it all out. I don't know. It's tough.
From what I've seen from the Weather Channel, which the app very much makes everything else be colder than it is. It seems like, and this is good news, it seems like today should be the last day that it's this cold, under sub 60 degrees.
Okay, I'm gonna believe you and hope you're right.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's like these people get it wrong all the time anyway. So.
That's true. Yeah, and we have no idea. But yeah, it's very grim. I'm just tired of seeing the rain.
That too. It's been like this in September, October.
I know. I said I went back to January, but you're right. It has been like
longer
than that.
I remember October. Literally every weekend it was raining.
I know. No good.
30 seconds, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hate it.
Everything's just flying. I need a nap right now. I'm so tired.
If there's a tornado, that would be cool.
No, that's not cool. We don't want a tornado.
That would be exciting.
No. No bueno.
Those people in the Midwest. I said Middle East.
Oh, no.
10 seconds.
You're way off.
The tornadoes here would not hurt anybody, don't worry.
Well, they're getting them they are getting the Midwest and they're having a bad time. Welcome back. You are listening to The Financial Chick Show. I'm the Financial Chick, Denise Nostrom. My company's in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all those changes. So, my gosh, there's been a lot of changes. Busy week, crazy week. I was away last week, and I was just kind of rehashing some things that went on. But before I left you, before the break, I was telling you about a story that I'm going to now tell you that shows either how dedicated or possibly how crazy I truly am. So my daughter was invited to be inducted into the National Business Honor Society. And of course, she comes home and tells me this, about a month and a half ago. And of course, it's right when I'm going to be in Florida. And not like at the beginning or the end where I could just like either go later or come home earlier. It's like slap dab in the middle of the whole thing. So she's like, oh, Mom, this would be the one I'd really want you to be to, which of course, be at. I wanted to be at it also. So, I don't know, we'll have to see what we're doing. Maybe we'll have, your father tape it or whatever the case may be. Well, about 2 days later, she comes home from school and says, Ma, you're not going to believe this. I said, what? She said that Patrick Medford High School wants to induct you into the National Business Honor Society as a business leader in the community. I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I'm like, she's like, Ma, you got to figure this out. Like, you have to get there. So I'm like, all right. She tells me it's in the middle of the day while I'm working with clients, phone calls, internet, everything's going on. So I said, listen, let me get through the day and let me figure out, let me see what I can do. So I go on to, the internet, and I said, let me see what kind of flights I could do. Well, I want to say thank you to Southwest and Frontier for making it happen, that I was able to get a flight. So I went to my conference in the morning in Florida, and then I left there about 11 o'clock, headed to Orlando Airport, which is about 35 minutes from the hotel. I hopped on a Southwest plane. Everything was looking good. I looked on, right before we're getting on the plane, and then of course they were showing delays in Baltimore, because Southwest unfortunately has no direct flight, so I had to go to Baltimore. But I said, right before we took off, I go, let me check it again. And there was divine intervention, because the delay was over after I had, emailed her, and she was having a heart attack. But so now no delay. So now I land in Baltimore. Everything's good. Hop on my next plane. Get to here, MacArthur Airport. She picks me up. We go to the school. She gets inducted. I get inducted. But before we even say that, so I didn't realize that with the induction that she was going to be introducing me. So she does this whole speech and introduces me. Now, meanwhile, I've been weepy and very, she's graduating this year. It's been like a tough year. I'm like, I have to go up and speak now. So it was crazy. But what I will say, again, thank you Southwest and Frontier for making it happen, because I was able to get home, and then I was able to get back. So there was a 9:50 Frontier direct flight to Orlando, 9:50 p.m. And we actually left early at about 9:25, because there was like 20 people on the plane. It wasn't a very busy plane. And then we flew back. We actually made up a half an hour in the air, and I got back. I was supposed to get back at 12:45 a.m., but I got back at 11:30 p.m., about, almost an hour earlier. So it worked out great, because it had to be perfect, because there couldn't be any delays, and it worked. So I just have to say that, I'm so proud of my daughter, and I'm so honored to be selected for such an exclusive award. A big thank you to Michelle Mars, Raymond Ruiz, Jason Smiloff, and Simon Theodoropoulos, all from Patrick Medford High School, for considering me and putting my name in the mix and making this happen. So I am very, very honored. And this was the 9th Business Leader induction, and I shared the honor with some big names: Paul Pontieri, who is the mayor of Patchogue, and Lou Giordano, who is the owner of Giordano's Collision. Sadly, Lou passed away last year. But I'm with some pretty amazing people here, and I have good company. And what made this so special was that my daughter and I were inducted in the same night in her senior year. So this is going to be something we cherish forever. I'm so blessed to have this wonderful memory, and it was certainly worth the trip. And again, I don't know how we pulled. Now that I think about it, that was just crazy. Then I got home last Thursday night. We attended the Patrick Medford Hall of Fame induction on Friday night. I was inducted in the Hall of Fame for Patrick Medford back in 2019, and I love to go every year and see all the inductees. This year was great, and the committee did an amazing job as usual. Patrick Medford has produced some really wonderful and successful people. What else is going on? Picked up my daughter's prom gown. Beautiful, no alterations needed. We're busy with graduation events and everything going on. The school year is going to be over before you know it, so I'm sending it out to all my senior moms and dads, because this is a tough year and there's so much happening, but it's all good stuff. But I just can't believe my baby's going to be starting college in the fall. You can't stop progress, but I'm still very weepy and excited all at the same time. And before I move on from there, I just want to wish my daughter here on the air a very, very happy birthday. Tomorrow, May 11th, she is turning 18 years old. I can't believe it, because I just had her like yesterday, and now she's 18. So I want to wish her a beautiful year. She's got a lot ahead of her, and oh my God, I gotta stop talking, I'm gonna cry. But it's all good stuff. So I'm very blessed. So let's get to the markets. The markets have been doing very well, so that's a good thing. Over the past couple of weeks, things have been moving pretty well. The Dow, NASDAQ, and the S&P are all flirting with their all-time highs. So we've had a little volatility over the past couple of weeks, but we're close to that high. Gold has been trading in its all-time high range as well. Crude oil was close to 87 per barrel, but has settled down to about 78 today. The bond market, on the other hand, has been heading south this year, as bond yields range from 3.5% to 5%. So, the Fed now is indicating that they will not decrease rates anytime soon. And this has, of course, sent the bond market into a tizzy. They had indicated that they were going to, decrease rates, but what happened was about, 3-4 weeks ago when the inflation numbers came in, they came in higher. So as I had mentioned before, my clients are talking about how things are expensive. All of us, we all see it. Everything is expensive, and so when they increased rates, that was to mitigate inflation, and the fact that we still have inflation is showing that it really kind of hasn't really worked. So we have to see how all this plays out. But unfortunately, being more conservative or safe, I guess you can say, and being in bonds has not been a good move for the past 2 years. So people have definitely decreased in net worth if you have a good percentage of your accounts in bonds. So the big news this week, of course, is that Social Security's depletion date is pushed back to 2035. It was 2034, but the fact that we've been talking about a depletion date is absolutely out of control. This is only 9 years away. Medicare Part A will only be able to pay full benefits until 2026 before the reserves are going to be depleted. So this is not great news. It's just the fact that when Social Security was designed, it was not really to be the mainstay of our retirements, but obviously it's something we pay into and we should get out. The problem is that the government rapes it for different things. There's different projects they need, or they need money for certain bills, or whatever the case may be, and they're not using for the intended need. So next week I am going to talk about in depth some strategies that you can and should be doing right now to take control out of the government's hands and back into your hands. So there are things that you can do. We all save, you do our 401ks and all this kind of stuff, but there's different strategies that you may not be aware of. We all do the basic stuff. So we're gonna take a look and see how we can. It's not all bad news. We just have to do things a little bit differently, and that's what's wonderful about this country, is that you can find workarounds. Years ago, during the Obama administration, we lost our health insurance, and it's just, we would be bankrupt right now if we were on health insurance. But we found a thing called Christian Health Ministries, and we're able to have a workaround. And I told you about that HMA a little bit earlier before the break. So there are things that I can bring to the table, hence my company name, Diversified Financial Solutions. Find solutions to help you basically get them before they get you, So anyway, so it's going to be an exciting show next week. And just as a reminder, my women's nonprofit organization, Power Woman Exchanging Resources, is having an awesome event on Saturday, May 18th at the historic Sayville Theater, located at 103 Railroad Avenue in Sayville. It's astrologer Tish Aiken. She's a New York and Los Angeles-based astrologer. She interprets cosmic language into practical, everyday wisdom accessible to all. So this is going to be a great event. She's going to talk about, the different cycles, what's going on, the wars, and she even does stuff about some mental health. So come down. It's $40 for Power members, $50 for non-members. Includes a light lunch. Wine and beer is available for purchase at the theater, and you get popcorn and soda because you're going to be in a theater. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Go to www.powernewyorkchapter.com for more information, and I will see you next week. We're at the end of the show. Have a great weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Woo! I knew I had a lot to talk about. Guess we got through it. But yes, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I hope you have a relaxing time. I'm going to hopefully do that. But enjoy, and happy birthday to my daughter, Megan, 18. And I know a lot of my friends, all of our kids are turning 18. Like, really? How is this happening? But thank you for tuning in today, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.